Welcome back to the morning meeting presented by Jomboy Media. This is another behind the scenes episode with COO Courtney Hirsch and myself, Maddie Mass. It's still weird to refer to myself in that way, but that is okay because we have some exciting topics that we're going to get into today, including a few new sales things, which is exciting. Sales and events combined. I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the Bloop Bloop shirt that Jimmy brought up and started in our last meeting. We've recently been doing some warehouse live streams, and we're just going to take a look at your whole past month since we last spoke to you. Um, so, with all of that being said, please press that subscribe button if you have not already. Leave a comment for the next time we record. Jimmy will be in your chair, so leave a comment for Jimmy. And yeah, press the like button while you're down there too. Hi, Courtney. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Good. How
It's
has your day been going?
it's busy. Do you feel like it's still crazy busy? Sam and I were just talking about this, and every time I look at Jimmy, he just says, "I just have to get through these 2 weeks and then we're going to be good."
And then
And he
2 weeks.
says that every week.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fun though. There's just a ton going on. I'm sure you feel it too.
Oh yeah. Yep. I feel the same way. I'm working just this one day this week while in Cape Cod, and this day flew by. It feels like it's 10 a.m. to me, and it is definitely not. It's at 4:30. So the fact that like that much stuff just like made the whole day just go by at a glance just
Yeah,
speaks more to that busyness.
it's
Um,
insane.
well, all of that being said, I want to jump into an exciting topic that you added in here to start the episode with. And that topic is Mountain Dew. Uh,
Mountain Dew.
we
I'm
are
so excited.
we're
I had to
officially
add.
we're officially doing the do.
Yeah, there we go. This
Can you
has been a
tell?
long time in the making.
Yeah, why don't you fill in everybody on what you know in regards to Mountain Dew?
So, Mountain Dew officially signed with us. They are going to be one of our biggest partners to close out the year. We've been working on this for a while, and they're going to come in. They're going to sponsor a lot of warehouse games, competitions, and content. They're doing a bunch of playoff stuff with us, but it's a really fun brand because we have our fridge in the warehouse has been stocked with Mountain Dew for
Yep.
years. It's a very popular drink. So it's a very organic fit. And Luke, the salesperson on this deal, has worked just over the past couple of months pitching ideas and being really creative on like fun ways that we can integrate their brand into our content. Their whole theme is like do the do, like get off your butt and like go experience life. And then they also, in their brief, one of their goals was like when adults act like kids. And I think everyone listening to this can kind of just see why the warehouse is just such a perfect medium to like help that get that concept to life.
100%. Yeah. I mean, when you said that our fridge has been stocked, it has been. It's this past 2 weeks when I've gone and drank those while at the warehouse. Now I find myself asking, Sam, is this for content or can I still drink this? Because that's my normal routine anyway.
I know. I'm very nervous about having enough product around the office that doesn't get consumed. So we're going to have to make like a little like do not drink
Yes.
section. But I think the first integration is going live today in the weekly dump. So that's exciting.
Great. Yeah, it's the weekly dumb, and then JM Baseball Trivia has one for next week. And then tomorrow's warehouse live stream will also have a Mountain Dew branding within it as well. Uh,
Yeah.
Speaking of, last Thursday we did our first of these four larger warehouse live streams that the whole goal is to really bring in a new audience and bring in new viewers to all the fun that we have within the warehouse walls. Did you watch that live stream at all?
I watched it in the office. We kind of had it on in the background while the rest of us were doing some work.
It was
And
hot in there.
it was
It was
it
hot.
was moving slowly.
Yeah. The I think my initial prediction was 5 hours, 48 minutes, and it ended up just being under 9 hours. But that's okay. That was like a part of the goal. Like we knew that going in that it had a chance of going long.
What time did you guys end? Was it like midnight?
No, it was before midnight. It was
Okay.
right around 9 o'clock.
Okay. Okay. That's
Yeah.
not terrible.
No. So that 9 o'clock feels like the hour that it's like, okay, like I can still make my way home. 10 o'clock is where it's like, oh, like this is now a late night. But nine,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Uh,
looked and they had each team had like 30 points. I knew it was play to 100. And then I went to a meeting and I was in there for an hour and I came back and each team had like 34 and 35 points. And I
yeah,
was like, no.
exactly. But once the human pitchers were kind of alleviated and it was just off the pitching machine, that's when the scores started to ramp up a little bit more.
Hmm.
The one cool stat that I wanted to share with everybody listening that we were proud about is that there were 22,000 chat messages throughout our 9 hour stream. So that like just speaks to how engaged that live chat is. There was never a time in the stream that we really dipped below 1,600 viewers before first pitch it got there. And then I mean, by the end, it had ramped up to over 3,000 people, but it was just a consistent 1,600 for most of the time. And the chat was just active the entire time. And that was really cool to see.
Yeah. I can't keep up with the chat sometimes. I love it. I
Yeah.
want to do that math of like what is 22,000 like chats per minute, messages per minute or something like that.
2,000 divided by nine is 2,400 chats per hour.
Hour.
And then divided by 60 is 40 chats, 40.7 chats per minute. So
Oh
it's
my God.
a chat every single.
Yeah. I love that. That's
That's
fun.
awesome.
Ugh.
Other exciting events that have happened in this past week that now we're flipping roles. I was at the warehouse, you were at Boone, and I was not able to be there. But can you fill me and everybody listening in on how the Boone event went last night?
Yeah, we missed you, Maddie. Boone was it's a really great event. Bill, our events planner, who was taking the lead on this event, he got stuck in Ireland. So he couldn't get home and was slacking everyone, saying he wasn't going to make it. So our team really stepped up and like filled in the pieces while he couldn't be there. But it was a really great event. I think Boone puts on a really good show. I think the community, like just the people around me, they were kind of like whispering to me, like, oh my God, like he's so open with you guys. Like he is smiling and like smirking and like they're asking him tough questions, but it's not this combative tone. So
Yeah.
I think you just get like such an up close seat of Jimmy and Jake's skill of how do you ask hard hitting questions, but keep the vibes upbeat and friendly. The venue was gorgeous. We did it at T Squared, and it's right on 42nd Street. So it was like a perfect location. I walked in and I was like, "Wow, this is like nice. Like, is this? We're moving on up. Is this like too nice for us?"
Right.
But everyone settled in quickly. And then I think like one of my biggest takeaways was how the vibe when you get there is kind of like a reunion with old friends and like everyone's hanging out and mingling and having a good time. There's like food, drinks, games. And then once the programming or content starts, like Jolly let everyone in trivia. And then they did the Talking Yanks live with Boone. Everyone just turns to being locked in and they are there to really listen to the podcast episode. So it kind of goes from like really fun, but like then it gets like serious and silent, but I think in a good way because everyone's so invested in what they have to say. So that was cool.
No, I think that, and that rings true for all of our events too, where in the mingling hours, people love the mingling, but then
Hmm.
people like end of day are there for the content and they love the content that is available to them. So yeah, it's like, let me lock in and like listen for real,
Yeah.
which is always cool.
Yeah. I think
The
an interesting aspect to the events too, like just from the business side of it, is it kind of works. It works for our business relationships just as it much for our community members. So we get to like put on a great event for our community, sell tickets, get together. And then we also get to invite partners. So like our Bally Sports partners were there and they got to see how we do the content live. We invited prospective advertisers that are interested in sponsoring our event, and they got to see how Beatbox had an interactive station. They got to see all the Amtrak branding come to life. So it's cool that we're able to leverage the events to help like multiple business goals.
No, 100%. That's like as as immersed as you can be,
Yeah,
especially like seeing the branding around. You're like literally surrounded by the
you're
people
in
that,
it. Yeah.
yeah, will end up using your code or whatever it may be. Um, Another chance at immersion coming up. Uh, the Fanatics Fest is less than 2 weeks away at this point.
I'm kind of
What
freaking
was
out.
that reaction?
I just can't believe it's 2 weeks away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming up quick. And so for anybody that doesn't know, I'm forgetting if we've truly gone through the details on this show or not, but we're as John Boy Media as a whole, we are putting on a 2 hour show where we'll be on stage and all of our creators will get to go through different types of content, like you said, jolly trivia, talking baseball, stuff like that, up on stage. And then throughout, that's 2 hours on Friday. Then throughout the whole weekend, we will have a big booth. And when I saw the images of that booth, it's like mind-boggling. I think we included those in last episode, but
Hmm.
is where the whole of John Boy Media is like coming to life in like a physical space, which is
Yeah.
cool. And we have different areas. So if you're in New York, make sure to come check us out and say hello. Um, but otherwise, what is on the top of your mind for Fanatics Fest? Do you feel excited? Do you feel
I
nervous?
feel excited and nervous. I think this is a new venture for us. We've never done an event or an activation to this scale. Fanatics is estimating 75,000 attendees. So I've seen ads. Have you been getting ads on
Oh,
Facebook and Instagram? I've seen a ton of ads for it.
it's almost the only Instagram ad I get. It's like Derek
Yeah.
Jeter and Tom Brady's face over and
Yep.
over.
Yes. Yes. So we're learning so much because it's our first time doing a big, and really for the booth activation, the live show on Friday is more in our wheelhouse. We've done these before. It's a very unique show for us because we're not doing just like talking Yanks or talking baseball. We're creating a new kind of holistic baseball experience. But I think we feel pretty comfortable about that. For the running the booth all weekend, the booth, like Maddie said, is like 30 by 30. We ordered it from overseas. I did not know how this works, but it's like way cheaper if you order it from overseas. And then I think like the shipping to get it to the US is just as expensive as the booth itself, but that's still like way more efficient than ordering it in the States. And we didn't have the time. Like we needed to order this all in 6 weeks. And we're just learning a lot about the cost of putting on building a booth in Javits Center, New York. You have to pay to bring the booth in. You have to pay to bring the booth out. You have to pay to use their electricians and their labor. And there's all these union laws. So we are learning as we go. Yeah, and the booth just like crazy. Like they send you this booth that you have to build, and they send you basically videos and like IKEA instructions, and then you have to figure out how to put this booth together. So I told all the leaders next week it might be like cancel all your meetings
Yeah.
and go to your garage and get your tools and meet at Javits
Yeah,
to build this booth. So
that's fun.
fingers crossed.
No, but I think that as long as that booth goes up, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun once that weekend comes.
Yeah.
Like the building of it could be a little stressful leading up to it, but
Oh,
once
it
we,
will be so much fun. There's going to be a little merch store. So we had to like, we ordered a bunch of merch to sell. There's going to be a live content station. I think Jimmy's thinking about doing like a live breakdown editing session where everyone can see in real time how he does it. And then there's going to be a batting cage where we're going to have some like warehouse games, sports challenges set up and you could like face our creators.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see it all come to life. I'm
Me too.
very curious. Like there are so many athletes that are supposedly coming to this event that I am curious, like, are they going to be like walking around?
Yeah,
Obviously, Derek Jeter and Tom Brady are not going to be walking the
I know.
floor of the thing.
Yeah.
But like, are there going to be athletes that come and say hi and stuff like that? I'm
Yeah.
I'm just so curious of how it will all play out.
I'm curious to see who shows up. Like, are people bringing their kids? Is this a family event? Is it groups of friends? We're
Yeah.
right next to the kid zone, which I think is good. Hopefully, we get to interact with a bunch of kids and like the warehouse game stuff. But yeah, I think everyone is like, this is just the first time for everyone. So everyone's looking at each other like, do you know what's happening? Do you know what's happening? Like, we're going to see.
And have we mentioned the claw machine yet?
Oh, yeah,
We
we did
got a claw
invest.
machine.
We did. We now own a claw machine, which is crazy. And is it really at Patrick's house? Because that's
If
ridiculous.
that is, I do not know that. But before we do anything else, I want to let everybody in on DraftKings. And big thank you to DraftKings for sponsoring this video because with baseball season heating up, now is the perfect time to get in on the action with our partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, all new customers who bet $5 on anything will get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's right. New customers can bet just $5 on anything and receive $150 in bonus bets instantly. If sports betting is not available yet in your state, do not worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have the shot to win cash prizes. So, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code MEETING with a G on the end, MEETING, and bet just $5 on any wager and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code MEETING only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Let me jump with you over to another event that you are taking the initiative on and planning, and that's our upcoming, I say upcoming upfront, which that's not a term that I was used to before hearing you say it, and that may or probably is the case for some of our audience. So, can you first explain what an upfront is, and then how Jomboy Media is tackling that in the
Sure.
coming months?
Yeah. And Upfront came from traditional media world, like linear television, where all the networks showcased what programming and shows they had available for the following year. And it allowed advertisers to place their buys in advance. So, in exchange for advertisers securing their inventory and placing their buy early, the networks would give those advertisers like a little bit of a discount or some sort of like extra incentive to book early. So we're really excited. We're going to do our own version of an upfront. I think a little historically, these things are a little bit more of like a traditional kind of presentation. Jomboy Media's upfront is going to be at like a sports bar in Manhattan. We're going to do more of like half presentation, but then just half kind of like live show. And I'm going to speak, but we're also going to have like Jimmy Jake is going to do warehouse. We're going to have some of our creators speak. We're going to showcase like what's coming up for like football and we got ice and our approach to all of our different content verticals. So it's the first time we're doing this. And I think it's really exciting because like we can make what we want of it and we don't have to follow the traditional rules. And I think that's why everyone that's working on this is so excited because there's no boundaries or rules. It's just like we get to do whatever we feel like is right to us. But we're going to invite our longstanding partners, advertisers, SeatGeek, DraftKings, Shady Rays. We're going to invite the new brands that just signed on with us. So T-Mobile, Captain Morgan, Corona, Mountain Dew. So their marketing representation will be there. Their media agencies that they work with will be there. And then we're going to invite a bunch of new prospective clients that, you know, maybe are interested in working with us and they don't know the whole story or what we have to offer. And like, this is our night to kind of immerse them in the experience.
That's awesome. And this is something that all of our creators will be in attendance or like floating around to
Mm-hmm.
mingle,
Yep.
also be on stage, right?
Yep. Yep. So all of our creators are going to be in attendance. Some are going to be on stage doing different like segments. And then all of our salespeople will be there kind of helping entertain and host our clients. It's going to be a really big night for us. We strategically put it the night before the filming of Blitzball Battle 5
Yep.
so that we can have Trevor and Chris Rose and maybe Kelsey and like all of our like key talent is there for the night.
That's great. I'm very much so looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Um, the next thing that I wanted to jump into, and this is like all of the stuff that we haven't already talked about that has been
Hmm.
keeping you busy over
Yeah.
the past month since we last spoke. Um, can you just run me through what a month in the life of Courtney has looked
Yeah.
like? Um, I I'll follow your lead, however you want to run through a number of these things. If you just want to touch on them in order, and you have the,
Yeah.
or if you want me to guide through either way.
No, no, I'm good. I was just going to talk about holistically, like there may be people that are interested in like what is my role at the company? What does a creator COO do? And what does my day-to-day look like?
Heck yeah.
And the beginning of the year, I think I was very focused on deal making. That was my top priority. I was like, I want to do this Dan Patrick deal. I want to do the Bally's deal. We did a deal with DraftKings. Like we have other deals in the works, and that was my main focus. And now, and then just like executing a lot of these deals, like the ICC thing with the Cricket World Cup, and making all these things come to life. Now that we're kind of over that halfway mark through the year and, you know, deep into the season, I'm really focused on leadership and strategic planning and what are we doing for next year. So the things on my plate for right now are like, we're going to have an all hands meeting next week. What am I going to talk to the company about? I'm speaking at a conference in later. There's the biggest podcast conference called Podcast Movement. So I'm speaking on a panel with our partners at DraftKings and Veritone, their media agency. We're doing a leadership offsite, which I'm really excited about in the mid-September. So I'm planning that. This upfront that we just talked about. We have a board meeting in September. So I'm planning for that. So like now the other part of my role is kind of like the executive leadership planning, maybe the more boring stuff. But it all goes into like kind of what needs to be done and the things that I really come in and like take off Jimmy and Jake's plate so they could be like on mic and in front of the camera for most of their days as much as possible.
That's great. And the other thing that you did this month was go out to the Hamptons, which looked like such a nice, like cool event, but also for people that like get it, like they're in this world and everything.
I
Can you
felt
just fill
bougie
in
going to the
everybody?
Hamptons. I
Yes,
did. Yes.
I was gonna say, can you fill in everybody on A, what that event was, but then also like some of the things behind the scenes that they might not have gotten to see from what you had posted about it and everything?
Yeah. So the event was really cool. It was an invite only event put on by Front Office Sports, and it's the first time they ever did something like this. They emailed me, I think it was like Sunday, the week before. So I was like, I'm definitely a last minute invite, but also I have no shame. I'm going to go to the Hamptons and check this out. But it was all industry like leaders and executives in the sports space. So there was some brands there that do big sponsorships in sports. There were athletes there. The head of business operations for the Mets was there and he spoke. So just like people that run their own like apparel business for athletes. It's just like a really cool, like curated group of everyone was connected, but like also working on different things. So they did it in the Hamptons on a Friday, which I was nervous about going in general because I live in northern New Jersey. So that is like a trek for those of you who don't know. It's like 2.5 hours, no traffic. But the problem with going to the Hamptons on a Friday is everyone from New York is going to the Hamptons on a Friday. So the traffic gets crazy. So I got a car service to take me out there, which I felt like super bougie about. But then I was like, if I could work 3 hours there and 3 hours back, then if this thing is a wash and not cool, at least I got a full day of work in the car. But it was cool. I met a lot of people. I met some people like the head of sponsorships at New York Life Insurance. Like we hit it off. He actually came to the Boone event on Monday. So it was a great way to just like build connections in the space.
Awesome.
Yeah. It
So
was cool.
then next year's are upfront maybe in the Hamptons or
Oh my God. I don't know. I
Right.
don't know. Maybe like 2027.
Right. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a lot of building to do.
A few quick hitters that are more fun. Jimmy and I talked about this on the last episode, and I wanted or needed your opinion. Bit just having a young family and everything. I don't know how much you guys watch TV, but the Olympics has been on, and Jimmy and I were saying that we kind of feel like this has been like different, like all the streaming services out there that you could just basically watch all of these things at once. It's losing that like familial, like sit down on the couch, everybody, let's watch Michael Phelps do this one race. Whereas it's like, I don't know what's on half the time. It just feels like everything's on all at once.
Yeah.
What has your Olympic watching experience been like recently?
So my husband is super into it. He watches it every night on that what is it, Gold Zone thing,
Uh-huh.
and he loves that. And
Okay.
I think it's an us problem. Like they did create an experience where we can watch all of the highlights at prime time, but no one's used to consuming media in that way anymore. But
Mhm.
they are giving us the opportunity to do that
Right.
because my husband's taking them up on that. I just am so tired after I put the kids to bed.
Right.
But I don't know. I do agree with Jimmy. Like I think that the Olympics, I have really great memories of watching it with my family all together. A lot of times we were down the Jersey Shore because it happened in the summer. So we'd like all watch it together with like my aunts and my cousins. And we did recreate that moment for the opening ceremonies because our family was all down the shore on Friday night. And that was like, it brought back those like iconic memories of us all gathered around watching the same thing, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, it is like more fragmented now and you can watch at different times and you see the results. So that is kind of just like a bummer because like I miss the community aspect of all watching the same thing together.
No, I agree. Another more lighthearted topic that I
Yeah.
want to quick hit on was the Bloop Bloop shirts from last episode. Patrick, I asked him how many people have ordered a Bloop Bloop shirt since last week. He said eight. One of those is Jimmy, so that may or may not count.
Oh,
So
that
seven
doesn't count.
people, not seven people outside of Jimmy, which is so funny that people are
But
ordering.
what's the Bloop Bloop story?
So Jimmy last week was talking about how like it's the shirt business and the merch business is so unique where there's so many people online that say nobody's going to buy this shirt.
Oh,
In reality, we don't need a ton of people to buy it to make it a worthwhile like business
mm-hmm.
practice, just based on like the returns. And
Yeah.
Jimmy said I could literally make a shirt in 5 minutes that just says bloop bloop, and I would turn a profit or something like that. And so Sarah very quickly made a bloop bloop shirt the day following, and we've sold eight of them, including Jimmy. Now
That's hilarious. Oh my God. Did he say that on the stream?
he said that in this show.
Oh, got it.
And then in the stream, that's last week's warehouse stream. There was like a half an hour session where everybody was just putting bloop bloop in the chat.
Hmm. Oh,
That
that's where it came
that was like
from.
unrelated, I think. I don't know
Got it.
why. The To wrap up, I wanted to just talk to you about the website and
Hmm.
get your thoughts. And
Oh, yeah.
I feel like this community that listens to the morning meeting might be left a little bit on a cliffhanger with the website, as that's something that we were alluding to coming soon, and now we're pivoting. Um, but if you could just fill them in on
Yeah.
what our internal thoughts have been.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I wanted to put this on here because I did feel like we were leaving this community hanging a little bit and we mentioned a website and then we just like went silent about it. So we are rethinking like what we want to do when it comes to the experience on our website to be like fully transparent. At first, we wanted to go video heavy and thought about producing like a video style, like Netflix style platform where you can consume all of our video and you could like search by creator. And we realized throughout the process that it was a way bigger lift than we thought, not to upload all the videos and to get all the technology working. And then the upkeep of having a new platform to publish on was just like a giant undertaking for our small team. And then really like we're never going to compete with the big video players like YouTube and Netflix, and people already like consuming video in the places that they're used to going. So we are just decided to like not put out the website because we wouldn't have felt great about it. And although we don't feel great about taking this long and like pausing and trying to rethink something, we just wanted to be true to ourselves and like respect the community and like put out a product that we are proud of. So I don't really have like that many details to share, but I just did want to share that, like why we went silent on it. And hopefully, I think by the end of this quarter, it's our goal to determine a new strategy for the website that is going to be a little bit lighter lift on the production and the resources, but it's going to allow us to test like what does our audience want out of a website from us, and what could we provide that we are proud of and that they find valuable, and like we're kicking around a bunch of ideas. So I know that was not like much of an answer, but I just wanted to address like why we've kind of went silent.
No, I think that was very well said. We want to make sure that the end product is as good as it can be and makes the most sense for our community. And so we appreciate like everybody's patience, but know that it will be worthwhile in the long run to get a product that makes a lot more sense out.
Yeah, 100%.
It's the questions part of the episode. So if you have not already, go
Mm-hmm.
down to the comment section, leave a question that you have that we will be make sure to answer next week. If you asked last week a question that's more suited for Jimmy to answer, I've saved those questions in our planning sheet here, so Jimmy will touch on those next week as well. If you don't have a question and you've made it this far in the episode, go tell Courtney what a great job that she's done on today's episode in the comments right now. Until then, there were two questions that I thought you could provide good insight on. The first being about when Jimmy went and did independent like cricket broadcasting work. Uh, Yorgi asked, when Jimmy does things like cricket broadcasting that seem more independent, does the revenue go back into the company? I had assured that Jimmy acted as a contracted body outside of JM until I thought about it more.
I love this question. No, all the revenue goes back into the company. We really try to do deals with partners that are beneficial to Jomboy Media as a whole. So the deal we did with ICC, it had an element of it that was a broadcast appearance for Jimmy to appear on, like I think it was 7 broadcast appearances. And then it had an element to the deal where they spent marketing dollars across our platform and had an element of the deal to where we did a custom activation for them at World Trade Center. So we really try to steer away from deals and really don't do them, honestly, if it's just like, hey, I want to pay Jimmy for an appearance fee, because the money that we would need to make that worth it to us probably wouldn't make sense to them. But if we can get revenue that supports our company as a whole, like that's when it starts making more sense for our business.
Great answer. And the last one is a little bit lighter. Um, Sour Pancakes asked, I really enjoy you on videos, Jimmy, but I especially enjoy Pissed at Yankees, Jimmy. How much of Jimmy or Josie's reactions are real versus played up for content?
I don't think I've ever seen Jimmy like not real on camera. Like he really can't hide himself. I know him very well. Um, yeah, he is who he is. So I know Jimmy, I could probably answer from his perspective the most. Like you can see when he's super uncomfortable doing something. You could see when he's not excited. You could see when he's super excited. Like I just think he kind of wears it all out there. I think Joe's reactions are 100% real too. I think he's just recording himself.
Yes.
I don't know. Do you have a perspective on that, Matty?
Oh, I think you're head on. Lives as like a reaction. He doesn't
Hmm.
filter anything out. He'll just say whatever he's thinking, which is great for the type of content, reaction content that he's doing. And yeah, like you said, Jimmy doesn't enjoy Halloween because he doesn't like not being himself. So much so
Yeah.
that, like, yes, that's all of those things are genuine. I think if the camera was there or not, like if you think to like when we went to Dallas and they're watching the Orioles game, people know that there are cameras around. Uh,
Hmm.
but those reactions would have played out the same exact way if the camera was there or not.
Right. Exactly. You're mindful of the cameras, but that doesn't change
Yeah,
like how you react to something.
exactly. Cool.
Cool.
Well, that is everything we wanted to touch on in this episode. Again, please like, subscribe, comment, do all those fun things. And I guess we'll be seeing you next month, Courtney.
Yeah, I'm excited to come back. Thanks for
Cool.
having me.
Of course. Everybody tune in next week. We'll have Jimmy back on. And until next month, we'll see you then.